money. Joey, 500. Got some goats in the building.
Get ready for a shakedown.
Prepare for a shakedown. We from Philly where they clap like huddles when they break down. Get ready for a shakedown. We underdogs, my guy. Kinda used to all the hate now. Prepare for it, man. Y'all get it. My QB got swag. My wideout is award winning. His fly was fly. Joey and 500. Like and subscribe. Yeah. Here's a quote you can sing back. Shake squad up and don't be a dingbat. It's a shakedown.
Don't you frown. Here comes the shakedown.
Let's go.
Yo, my doing? Kick Dingbat here. Welcome to another Philly Shakedown podcast where we are living in a crazy world that's about to get crazier. Joey Shakes, what is going on, my man? How are you?
I'm good. Let me say this. Everybody needs to buckle in their Howie Roseman custom-made seatbelts because we're about to go on a ride.
Get your Napoleon hats on if you have them. Pocket pencil protectors welcome. Get them. Here we go. Jonathan Cook, what's up? Twits, what's going on? Lucius the Show. Teresa, what's going on? Donnie, John Jones, MJ, Robert, Little G Griffith, PD Tatted, Jay, what's going on? Natasha, what's up? Daz, my man, what's happening? Bleed Kelly Green, John, Linda, Eagles. Let's see, Joey, I think you have a new member here.
Do I?
I think this might be you.
I think that's you. That's you.
Are you sure?
100%.
It's not showing up in my thing.
It's not showing for me either.
No,
shout out to you. Is it? All right.
Yeah, I see it now. My bad. It's all the way up. Fitness Warrior, welcome to Dingbat Nation. Welcome back to Dingbat Nation. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Yeah, I didn't see it. Thank you so much. Well, I mean, listen, guys, and thank you, everybody, for being here. We appreciate it. It is about to get crazy. I just came back. I was in Lake Tahoe overnight. I was telling Joey to take my kids. They wanted to go sledding and stuff like that. So we went last night, and I wanted to get it, done now because the next few weeks, next month and a half, is going to be really through the draft. It's going to get crazy, and it looks like things are going to get really crazy. Leon Banks, what is going on, man? He goes, thank you for being a member for 3 months. He goes, Saquon Barkley and C.J. Gardner-Johnson will be an Eagle next week. Oh, my gosh, you're getting me excited, dude. Pause. But you are. But listen, we're going to get to all. Let's start where we kind of left off the last show. Avonte Maddox was really the next big thing that dropped. Avonte Maddox gets cut. Now, what were your thoughts on that, man?
Well, I was surprised because it wasn't a designation for a post-June cut where you would save $7.1 million. And then the reports come out that he's welcome a return. I mean, I don't know what they're trying to do there. Like, do they not think they have anybody at nickel so far? I mean, you got Maddox that's been hurt nonstop, and Zach McPherson is coming off an ACL. So I mean, I was kind of not shocked over the release, but shocked over it wasn't a post-June cut or designated to there. Right.
That's what shocked me, the extra $5 million. But they may figure that it doesn't even matter. It could also be there are also reports that they're thinking about bringing him back at like a lower price. So maybe that has something to do with it too. But for whatever reason, Avonte Maddox is gone. And obviously we have Isaiah Rodgers. And I think we're all excited about him. I mean, we all think he's going to be pretty good. He was pretty good with the Colts. And he was only getting better. So I think we'll be okay. Yeah,
we'll be all right. We'll be all right.
Yeah. Well, and then I'm going to jump right to the defense.
Go ahead, jump.
I have to because today's report. All right, I almost choked on a Marcom chicken wing for lunch reading this report that the Eagles are not only shopping Hassan Reddick, but also Josh Sweat. Let's put this up. Diana Rossini says the Eagles have been shopping both Josh Sweat and Hassan Reddick for the last few weeks. Look for the Eagles out of nowhere. Not really nowhere, but we've heard a lot about Bryce Huff to pursue Bryce Huff in free agency. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, my entire perspective of what the Eagles were going to do defensively have changed. And what I think, I think my whole outlook on the defense has changed completely from this, Joey.
Yeah, I mean, and now you because now, like, look, you're looking at the Bryce Huff thing kind of came around. This is from like Lombardo that covers the Giants and Jets on radio, and said that the Eagles are going to go early for Bryce Huff from the Jets, and Bryce Huff has 10.5 sacks last year. You're getting a double-digit sack guy, and they're aggressively going after him. He's been top 3 in pressures the last 3 years. So it's a really good player, but I think with what's going on now is, you're going to have 2 defensive ends now that potentially could be traded. Your 2 starters are going to be traded, and it looks like Vic is going to bring in his own guys. Maybe they're not cutting it. So
yeah, I mean, listen, I'm going to pull up, let me screen share this real quick for everybody. Cause we're going to talk about Bryce Huff for a second. This kid obviously has a lot of talent, but he's a young kid. He's only 20. Can you see this? Do you see this?
Yes.
Okay. So he's only 25 years old. He'll be 26 in April, had 10 sacks last year. And Parth Gunya, thank you so much and welcome to Dingbat Nation. Thank you so much for joining. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. But, he had 10 sacks last year. But if we look at, hold on, let me get to it. If you look at his season logs, let me find it per season, right? So if you start here in 20, can you see that 2020 and stuff?
Yeah.
All right. So if you start at 2020, the guy had 2 sacks. Then in 2021, he had 2 sacks again. Then in 2022, he has 3.5 sacks. Then he has 10 sacks last year. So obviously the Eagles look at this kid and say, this kid's about to explode. Pause. You know what I mean? Like his best days are clearly in front of him. I mean, they have to be thinking that. And then we can hold on, let me get this off. We can look at this. This is what you sent me. 2022, his pass rush win rate was first. His pass rush productivity was second. 2023, his pass rush win rate third, and then pass rush productivity was second at 25. I mean, that's pretty good. I guess win rate, though, is only beating your guy. It's not getting the quarterback, because in 2022, he only had 3.5 sacks. So he didn't get not like he got a lot of sacks. But, I mean, to me, the fact that Josh Sweat is included in this tells me that they are not happy with what Josh Sweat and what Hassan Reddick did. This is more than not just wanting to pay Hassan Reddick. I now think that they both are gone. Yeah. I didn't think Reddick would go. I do think they're going to go now. I think they want to trade them both.
I think Reddick and I think Huff play on the same side too, which, you're not going to have if you sign Huff to a big deal, you're not, you're going to have him as a starter really. If one of these guys is gone, but they had play on the same side. So I'm figuring, one of these 2 guys is going to be, expendable, but I don't think Josh Sweat has anything to do with Reddick. I think it's a totally separate thing, but it's just looking at the roster. There was rumors that came out today because things are starting to leak out. John McMullen put out some things today saying that, the coaching staff was really, I don't know if I sent you that. I don't know if I did. Yeah.
Here it is. Here you go. Yeah. From multiple sources, Pound Eagles were not happy with the way the D-line played down the stretch last season, particularly when it came to discipline and what was being asked. I think that falls on Sweat and Reddick, though, Joey, because Reddick also disappeared.
Right.
Ayo, thank you for the super chat, my man. He goes, do you think we can really get a 2 or 3 for Sweat or Reddick? Think we might be overthinking it. You guys are both great. Love the show. I don't know that they can. And here's why. Because, and I did a video on this this morning, but Brian Burns, he wants $30 million. They franchised him and they want to trade him. They're asking for a first-round pick. From what Josina Anderson said, her sources and scouts told her, they're not going to get more than a third-round pick for Brian Burns. And if that's the case, and you're going to get a third-round pick for him, how are you going to get a second-round pick for Sweat or Reddick?
Well, Reddick's got the statistics. I mean, that's that's but he's going to be turning 30 in September. That's the difference. I'm hoping we can at least get a second round pick out of somebody, at least some mid round picks. That's what I'm hoping at least get a second round pick. So I don't know if they're going to get it, but I think compensatory picks that comes into this whole thing for 25 for more comp picks. Obviously getting trading a player away or releasing a player to sign another one of the same position. So I think Howie's working a comp game on top of trying to get two guys out of Philadelphia that don't fit what Vic Fangio's running. So
I mean,
it's crazy.
You're talking about two double-digit sack guys, and Josh Sweat's only 25 years old. I mean, he's not old. It's not like he's an old guy.
No.
And we should talk that Brandon Graham signed a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
I think it was worth $4 million today. So Brandon Graham is back in the fold, but he's not. He's clearly not being paid as a starter. He's being paid as a rotational guy.
Right.
So I'm totally okay with that. But man, if they trade these two guys, they are going to basically go after, let's say they go out and they get Huff. The other guy, we got to talk about is Nolan Smith in all this. Because where is it? James Palmer wrote, the Pound Eagles feel good about the trajectory of Nolan Smith's development. Smith had maintenance procedure on his shoulder this offseason, preparing him for a bigger workload in year 2.
It's good to hear.
I mean, you can't do this if you don't think Nolan Smith is going to be good.
Yeah, obviously Vic Fangio sees something in Nolan Smith. I mean, it could be used, like I was saying, like an outside linebacker. I think that's where, they're going to put him and not much playing time last year. I think, between Derek Barnett taking away reps from Nolan Smith and just never really giving him an opportunity really until the end of the season. It was just too late by that time. We were all pretty much down in the dirt by that time. So it's nice to see that they're going to give him a big opportunity. As a first round pick, you can't just give up on him.
I know. Listen, I wish I would have seen more from Nolan Smith. And I'm not saying he's not going to be good, but they kind of did it with Nakobe Dean last year. They said, we're going to let all these guys walk because we believe in Nakobe Dean. And he really didn't live up because of injuries. Nolan Smith he can't miss on that. He's got to be good if you do this, man.
Right.
Bald Eagle, thank you for the super chat. He goes, Sweat is a product of Reddick. Let him walk, he says. Wow.
Another thing too is with the, apparently the news is if they get rid of both Hassan Reddick and Josh Sweat, they're going to immediately replace them. And it might be, they might double down in free agency. They could make two moves.
I'm going to tell you the two guys. You ready? Bryce Huff. They're going hard after him. Pause. Chase Young. Here comes Chase Young.
Maybe, yeah.
The thing with Huff is if you do sign Huff, Huff's not gonna he's not gonna get $20 million.
No,
he only had one good year, so he could totally be a bargain. Now, what I was reading about him was that he is purely a rush guy.
Yes.
He's got problems covering and other things. Purely pass rush type guy, so he would be there to rush the passer.
And he can. He does it really well.
Yeah.
I heard the price of his price will probably be around 15 to 18, which is pretty good. I mean, they were saying $2 million more than what Reddick got when he first came to Philadelphia, which is really nothing.
Chase Young is projected to make 13.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good bargain, no?
Yeah, for rotation.
For upside. 41 to 33. Thank you for super chat. He goes, missed the beginning. What trade are we talking about? We're talking about the reports about the Eagles are trying to trade not only Hassan Reddick, but they're also taking trade offers for Josh Sweat. They're looking at trading both those guys. They were not happy, apparently, with the way those guys played towards the end of the year. They were not happy with not wanting to do certain things. I mean, really, if you read, and I'll pull this up again, let me see, Mullins, what he says here is kind of interesting because he says down the stretch last season, particularly when it came to discipline and what was being asked, they were not happy with the discipline or what was being asked. They weren't doing what they were asked to do. They weren't doing it. That's what he's saying. So were they malcontents? It's crazy. It's crazy. Like, to trade two guys like that, you're going to have to replace them right away.
That's not Howie-esque though. I mean, he doesn't do stuff like that. Not like two guys on the same like on the line, like two at one position in one off season.
Which tells me they really were pissed off about something.
Maybe.
I mean, if you're not doing what was asked of you, and then now they're trying to trade you.
Yeah, but that may be blown out of proportion. It could be a million other things. It could be they just don't fit what they're doing there. It could be a total. I think when we hear something like that, we're going to think like they weren't listening. If that was the case, nobody was fucking listening this past offseason. Nobody was listening last season, the last 7 weeks, because I don't know.
But they're obviously blaming their pass rush.
Well, those are yeah. Well, I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, those are your two top guys on defense. I mean, I guess, right?
It's crazy, right? It's crazy. This is craziness. But listen, if you're not putting 100% in and you're not doing what was asked of you, that's bad, man. That's bad. And then I start thinking about what Jalen Hurts said in his press conference, that certain guys, basically aren't doing what they need to do, and it makes you wonder, Joey. It makes you wonder.
I know. I get it.
Like you said, the Eagles don't trade pass rushers. They don't do that. And they want to trade two of them.
And
yeah, something's seriously up with that. Umbrella Man, thank you for the super chat, my man. He goes, what up, fellas? What do you think Howie will do with all our picks? Here's what I think. My outlook is, I think in the draft, the Eagles will focus on defensive end edge rushers, obviously now, cornerbacks, offensive linemen. I think in free agency, we're going to go after wide receivers, running backs, linebackers, and safeties. That's what I think they're going to do. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, it's crazy. And thank you, Umbrella Man, for the super chat. Why would we give up a double sack guy for Chase Young? You're not giving him up for Chase Young. Chase Young has nothing to do with anything.
Right.
Chase Young is just a guy who's available out there that you could get for a rotation. Literally, they're willing to give these guys away for draft picks for nothing in return but draft picks.
Howie more draft picks. I mean, at the end of the day, like, even if they get an extra third, an extra fourth, like, I don't know if there's going to be one pick.
What are you going to get? You get a Can you get a second for each guy?
At least one. At least for one guy, I would.
So if you could get 2 seconds for both guys, or second and third, you could have 3-4 second round picks.
You better move up.
They're going to get one of those first round picks and a second, and they're going to move way up and get the best pass rusher. Your boy that you like might be a guy, man. He might be if he's still there, because that's the play. The Eagles do not trade pass rushers. They don't do it. Drew, a member for 42 months. Thank you. He goes, package Sweat in the 22nd to Denver for Patrick Surtain the second. I mean, look, I would love Patrick Surtain. Obviously, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they traded Jerry Jeudy today, Denver to Cleveland for basically nothing. So who knows? Hey, man, thank you for super chat. He goes, what will you do? Would you do Reddick for a fourth Williams, the running back from the Broncos? I wouldn't want to do that. No, to me, I don't want a fourth round pick for Reddick, and I just think that there's so many running backs available that you don't need to include.
I heard a third and a fifth. Like, I heard it could be a second or it could be a third and a fifth combined. So that's what I've heard so far.
It's going to be interesting. 41-33. Dave for super chat. He goes, how he possibly trade one of them to move up in round one? I think they're moving up in round one. I mean, especially if you trade two of your pass rushers. Now, I mean, this is all, we don't know what level are they, trying to trade these guys. Is Reddick a guy where they're like, well, if we could trade him, we will? Josh Sweat seems to me the guy that's more likely to get traded than Reddick.
Yes.
To be honest with you.
Yeah, if this has been going on for weeks, then I already think both of them are gone. If they're aggressively going after a double-digit sack guy, Reddick. I feel like Reddick's already gone at this point and play the same side. So
I think Sweat's gone, dude. I think Sweat's gone. Devin Owens says, you play 10 yards off the damn ball, they're gonna get it out quick. Pass rush can't help. Get out. We agree with you in theory, but just based upon what McMullen reported, based upon that, I mean, this source, the whole thing with the Josh Sweat, dude, that came from multiple places, dude.
Yeah, it's real.
There's
real.
too many people reported that for it to not be like a real report,
Yeah, Rappaport reported on it, so it's automatically real.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Robert says, Sweat has a bad wheel. If we get something for him, that will be great. You'll get something for him. I think you could get a 3rd-round pick for him, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, he's only 25, 26 years old.
Going to his prime, dude. It's not even his prime yet.
He's young.
Yeah.
I find it's extremely – this team never stop disappointing me with entertainment, though. I mean, it's always something. Right before we're what, just over 24 hours away from legal tampering beginning, and boom, the Eagles are about to rebuild their whole defensive line.
They're about to rebuild their whole defense. I mean, really, their whole defense. I mean, they still need safeties, they need linebackers. Corner's a big question, but they're going crazy.
Yeah, SMD. Esprit de Booth, what's up? Eagles backward. I don't know. You must be talking about something else. I don't know. Dad says Sweat is better than Young. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter if he is or if he isn't, because they want to trade him.
Well, it's not even that, but it's
trade him.
You could have the best player at a position on paper, but if they don't fit what the Eagles are doing, then he'll fit somewhere else. Yeah, he's a good player, but he's probably a good player somewhere else. I mean, got to think of it that way, too.
Right. Eric Number, member for 5 months. Thank you so much for your support. If they trade up, it should be for Dallas Turner. I have no – listen, we're going to have plenty of time to debate the players in the draft.
We got to know what we're getting in free agency before anything.
But yeah, free agency is going to tell us a lot.
Yeah.
And if they trade both those guys, I mean – I don't see how you can't go pass rusher early, right?
No, I mean,
you think Huff could be a smokescreen? Do you think that this legit interested in him, or do you think it's some sort of smokescreen because there's somebody else they really want?
I'm kind of surprised that it's getting put out there too much. It's not really it's not too much of a secret right now. It could be, but I don't know. I feel like if they really have interest in somebody, maybe the news did get out there. So. I don't know. What could it be a smokescreen for? Another player that's under the radar?
Another player, similar free agent. Somebody that would be in that class. I'm just thinking outside the box. But man, it's
God, you're gonna.
Well, it really shocks me because. I think back to the Eagles in history. I don't remember the Eagles trading away pass rushers like that. I mean, they lost Reggie White when free agency started, and they tried to immediately replace him. Of course, they went out and they got William Fuller. William Fuller was a good player, but he was not Reggie White. But they always had pass rushers. I don't remember this team just wanting to trade a pass rusher away in his prime, especially somebody that was drafted by your team. I think there's got to be more to it than, I mean, it can't be a money thing. They have to be looking at Josh Sweat going, we don't like something of what happened at the end of the year. To me, it has to be the case.
Or he just can't, or they want him to be in coverage and he can't do it. I don't know. I mean, it could be multiple of things, but this is a new scheme now.
Dude,
you're getting.
If I'll kill Howie Roseman if they're trading a pass rusher who's paid to rush the passer because he can't cover. I mean, he's not a cornerback.
No, I know.
I mean, that would be crazy.
It's not a reason, though.
No, it's not why. Drew, thank you for Super Chat. He goes, congrats on 100K. Joey is next. Howie definitely has something up his sleeve. What teams in the NFC East are trending down or trending up? I think the Giants are trending down. I think the Eagles, I think it remained, if we're going to be honest, I think the Eagles, we got to wait and see what happens.
Right.
And then I think Dallas kind of got to wait and see what happens also. But I think the Giants, it looks like the Giants are going to have to start tearing some stuff together in order to get better. And their draft, of course, they got to figure out their quarterback situation. But they're going to lose their best player. So
if they had a quarterback this year, they would draft. They would by time draft like a number one receiver, and they can't even do that.
Nope.
It's crazy.
Yeah, Jameson Smith, they were super chat. He goes, we need to sign Benno Verbeek as linebacker. Bend over. Okay, I got it.
Bend over, bitch. Man.
Yeah, it's interesting. Hey, David Superchat goes, I love for John Runyon Jr. and Barkley. I mean, the Barkley thing is a whole other.
There's a couple New York Giants players we'd be going after.
I know it's gonna cost the Philadelphia Giants when this thing's all said and done. Blake Wilson, David for Super Chat. He goes, I think Sweat will be a 3rd round pick. I do too. Reddick going to take a second round 2024 and a 1st round next year. Also, I want Barkley and Garden Johnson. I don't think that they could get a 1st round pick for Hassan Reddick. I don't think they could. I think if they could, they would do it. But I don't think they can. And mainly because of his age,
Would you take a 2nd round pick going into next year and not having anything this year? Like if you got a 2nd round pick for 25 instead of now, would you?
For Reddick?
Would you take it for next year instead of this year?
For Reddick or for
for Reddick?
No, but I'm still in. But I think they would though. Like if do I think Howie? I think Howie
they would do it.
Yeah,
I know
I
they
think
would do
it. They don't want to pay Reddick, right? They're not going to pay Reddick. But the issue to me now is more than just that, because the whole idea where they didn't like how their defensive line didn't play and didn't do what was asked of them. Are they just talking about? Is he just talking about Josh Sweat, or is he talking about Reddick as well? Because if he's talking about just Josh Sweat, I think Sweat's gone. If you said to me right now, who do you think is more likely to get traded? I think Sweat.
Yes.
I think Sweat's easier to trade, and I also think it sounds like they're not happy with him. That's what I take from it, that they're not happy about the way the season went, and they blame their pass rushers. I don't know how else to look at it,
Yeah.
41-33. Thank you for Super Chat. He goes, maybe there were the problems in the locker room. Yeah, maybe.
Of course there was. I mean, how would there not be the last 7 weeks? Of course there were problems.
Yeah, there's something.
Obvious.
There was something that was wrong. I mean, we remember when we talked about this when Jalen Hurts came out after the press conference. I forget what game they lost. And it was like, yeah, we have guys that aren't doing what they're asked. And we're like, we don't think that's A.J. Brown. And we were saying we don't think that's A.J. Brown because that was everybody was assuming he was taking a swipe at A.J. Brown. But now it makes you wonder,
Well, yeah, Lane Johnson had things to say after the playoff game about just the attitude of like specific players. Jason Kelsey's comments of players not fitting in Philadelphia and dealing with the fans. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's not being said outright. No one's going to be thrown under the bus, but it's kind of showing that a lot of players don't fit what we're doing here. So,
yeah. Frank asks, "Is there anything on Queen?" I haven't heard anything about Queen at all to the Eagles.
No.
Not another Philly fan says this has potential to be a complete disaster. Yeah, it could, and it could be one of the most genius things depending upon how it goes.
Yeah.
It's crazy. 125-850 says, I'm not trading Reddick for anything less than a 1st. I know that the 2 arguments against a 1st for Reddick. He will be 30 and he isn't on his rookie contract, but Reddick is the best defender we have. That's why if you ask me, like I still wouldn't trade Reddick. I would still go out, and if they want to go get Huff, go ahead. I keep calling him Josh Huff, dude. By the way, I'm gonna have to work on that because if Bryce Huff comes, I'm gonna be calling him Josh Huff the whole time.
Mr. Hollow Point.
There's a hollow point, yeah. Jeez. But I don't disagree. I don't want to trade Reddick, and I don't want to give up Reddick for a second-round pick. But the Josh Sweat thing makes me kind of rethink the whole situation with Reddick as well. So I don't know, you know.
I don't want to make it look obvious that they, because if they lose both of those players, that now everyone's going to know what the Eagles are doing in the draft, that they know like who they're going after because of, if they don't go after another pass rusher besides Huff, then it's going to make it obvious you're going to get an edge rusher. And I hope that's not the case.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, do you have to go out and get Huff and then you make the trade, or do you make the trade like within the next 24 hours? Sure. Fitness Warrior says, was Swift on the radar last offseason? No. Swift was a complete and utter surprise, which was a beautiful thing. I mean,
well, with who? With
Swift. If he's asking if DeAndre Swift was on our radar last year, I don't think there was even really much talk about Swift being traded at all.
No, we talked about all running backs that could be available for trade. We went outside the box and we were dialing down on, who could be available. And the third day of the draft, he showed up in a trade. That was really all that happened. No rumors.
Yeah. Leon Banks, favorite Super Chat goes, going on a date tonight. Wish me luck. It's the second one. I'm going to try to smash after. I think I can. She a Betty of Tinder. Definitely going. Oh, okay. You do what you got to do. Good luck, buddy. I wish you nothing but
that boy.
Nothing but the best, my man. 41-33, David Super Chat goes, talking about Sweat and Reddick being the problem.
I know. Well,
I don't know. I mean, here's what we're trying to say. How do you make sense of this? How do you make sense of this report? From multiple sources, the Eagles were not happy with the way the defensive line played down the stretch last season, particularly when it came to discipline that was being asked and what was being asked.
How
do you make sense of that?
You make sense
other
of it
to say that they couldn't have been happy with.
Yeah, you make sense of it because they fired the defensive coordinator mid-season. You make sense of it because they didn't make adjustments to the defense for the last 7 weeks of the season. That's why players were uninterested. That's why there was no sense of urgency. Like seriously, like if you're put into a situation where you're practicing and these guys are excited for practice every week, but it's the same game plan, like how are these guys supposed to like have, carry their leadership or help the team in any way possible if just things are not changing? Like that's why I feel like coaching staff really, I think, screwed everything up. And it just I don't
disagree. I don't disagree. And I don't understand how you trade two pass rushers like this. I don't get it. But if I try to take myself out of it and put myself into what Howie in the front office is thinking, the only reason I could come up with is, and linking it to John McMullen's report, is that they had to be very unhappy with the way those guys played and acted or something to the point where they want to trade them. I mean, I don't know how else to make sense of it. Yeah. Why would you trade Red? Why would you trade either of them?
Maybe they didn't like the scheme. There's a lot of players that like that. There's a lot of players that don't like that Vic Fangio scheme. Right. A lot of players hate it. There's a lot of guys that like it. You're going to get the bunch of both sides.
Right.
So,
Wiser, thank you for the super chat. But if you don't like, and thank you so much, man. But you don't like something, you still got to go out and you still got to play your best.
Agreed.
Fitness Roofer, welcome to Dingbat Nation, man. Thank you so much for joining. Appreciate you. I'm falling behind on these. I don't have an answer. I'm just trying to figure out what could be going through their mind. I don't know. Green Eggs and Ham, member for 4 months. He goes, if they do less than NFC champion, is Sirianni gone? I think so. I think Kellen Moore is already in place for Sirianni.
I think Eagle fans are panicking too much right now and just need to chill. Because we don't necessarily know if both of them are going to get traded. Even if
No,
one of them
we
gets
don't
traded.
know. No, I don't
You
think
know.
Reddick gets traded. I do not think Reddick is getting traded because I think Reddick, they're not going to get what they want for him. And I think they should keep Reddick. All I'm trying to say is that this is an extremely odd thing to have two pass rushers in their prime who have gotten double-digit sacks, both being shopped at the same time, is unheard of by the Eagles, Joey. It's not something they do. So, I mean, are we just to think it's a money thing or a fit schematically, or is there something else going on?
Well, it could be that they have more flexibility this offseason because they have more cap and they understand if they trade Reddick away, they'll get a lot more cap for him. And have a bigger chunk of money than they have now. I mean, 46.5 is pretty damn good, which the Eagles never normally have that. So it could be a bunch of different things. It could, this might be a lot more pull from Vic Fangio. Vic Fangio, Howie will have final say in things, but when Vic Fangio opens his mouth, I guarantee you Howie is saluting him every time he tells him to do something.
But what worries me about that is you got to do what your defensive coordinator does. I get, but how long is he going to be defensive coordinator? Like he's a guy who's literally on the verge of retirement. So is he retire in 2 years? Is he going to be here 5 years? Is he going to be a fixture long enough to draft players that will fit his system and he'll develop, or is he going to cut it and run? And then we're starting over and we have guys that don't fit. Do you give that guy that much pull?
They could. I mean, look, we saw what the defense looked like in 22 when he was a consultant here. Then he left 2 weeks before the Super Bowl because he thought he wasn't going to have the job as the next DC because he thought Gannon was staying. I mean, he should have been the DC last year. And, they were late to the press conference this year. They were late to the press conference, on the phone already. So,
Yeah. It's an interesting twist to what's going to be a very crazy.
Dude, it's already here. We're 24 hours. That's it. We're already at free agency. It came pretty damn fast.
Yeah, because they don't wait anymore to sign to tell you somebody signed. Once they agree verbally on the, we'll start knowing Monday who's signing where.
Yes.
Which King of Amber says too many Eagles reporters and media members with bullshit reports.
There's a lot of bad.
There's a lot of BS reports. There are. But when you get like with the Josh Sweat thing, it came from so many sources, and a lot of them weren't Eagles media. It's hard not to believe it,
Yeah, Rappaport. If Rappaport says it, it's pretty much a done deal at this point because he put out the tweet that both of them have been working on trades for both players the last few weeks. So that's the story from him. And if that's the case, then that's perfect. Like Diana Rossini's had some good things. Tony Pauline's another one that was right about some things even last year. So there's certain things you have to kind of watch out for, but you have to start looking at the other side of the media, which is maybe the team that the player is from another team. If you're going after somebody, you have to kind of hear that side because sometimes with our side, we don't hear much from other trades. So,
well, the one thing we do know that is if they do somehow pull it off with both those guys, they are going to have a lot of picks. And they are going to go extremely quick, and they're going to pay a lot of money to go out and get pass rushers. I don't think I'll say this. I believe Josh Sweat's more likely to get moved than Hassan Reddick. I'm going to stand by that. But maybe neither of them get moved. No. And if neither of them get moved, I'm totally okay with that too. I would, I want to build upon what we had. I didn't want to tear the whole thing down and rebuild it. I wanted to I got Sweat, I got Reddick. Now let's add to it, So
yeah, I think realistically both of them can get traded. I think Reddick can get traded. I think it could happen. I think it's realistic. It could happen just because of not even just the Bryce Huff stuff, but I feel like, the Eagles have to be careful here because, this is a big investment for a guy that's turning 30 in September. And yes, he's your best guy. I understand you don't see guys get double, Myles Garrett and pretty much, Hassan Reddick are guys that get multiple seasons with double-digit sacks. Those are guys you never want to get rid of ever. But there comes a time now where you might have to sacrifice one big payday for somebody and put in. You could probably pay two guys with what he wants. If he wants 25 plus, 30 plus, you could probably pay two other guys that can come in and be more, scheme worthy, and they can go that direction. So that's if Hassan Reddick was like 26, 27, then it's a different story.
Yeah, I agree.
Give him what he wants at the end of the day. And I'm not saying that Reddick is declining or anything like that. He could still play for a few more. I don't see decline in Reddick at all. Just last season, I think everybody hit a roadblock. Everybody on the defensive line hit a roadblock.
They did. But it's just, I mean, when you read the McMullen report, do you look at that and do you see it the same way I see it? Like, do you see what he's saying as the same way I see it? I see it as him taking a shot at those guys, meaning that the Eagles are not happy with those guys. Do you take it that way, or do you take it differently?
I take it as like, before we start blaming the players, and yes, you're getting paid millions of dollars to be on the field, and I can't help this think that when you keep putting your players in a failed situation every single game and you expect them to keep playing that hard, like, they have to show some signs of there's an issue here. And the first thing I wouldn't do is point it at the players first. Hence why the ultimatum was given to Nick Sirianni that, either fire your coordinators or, get the hell out of here. The same ultimatum they gave Doug Peterson. So, it's hard for me when you have a press conference of your head coach coming in every single post game saying that, looking more stupid and more dumb and making no sense every single week. What's being said from the front office to the head coach to keep your players elevated when you're going through a rough patch, when you're going through this huge decline, this big crumble, this big downfall of the season. It's really hard. I mean, and McMullen's not really saying, they're not, because these guys have to keep their credentials. They're not going to say who said this or who's saying this towards what players, but, multiple sources could be anything at this point. It's tough. It's tough to figure out.
Why do you think they're trying to trade these guys? Both of them.
It's too much. It's too much to handle. It's way too much.
Right?
Like, one I could see, but like both is like, we were talking about Reddick like the last few weeks. We really weren't even thinking.
I didn't think that's what was even a consideration. I didn't even think that was a consideration. Never stress him, man. Thank you for super chat. He goes, top 2 Eagles streamers. Thank you, man. Sweet. We appreciate that. He goes, I still think Simmons would be a great addition and should not cost a lot. Fits a diverse system.
Okay. So, well, we can go to safety. We can go to other positions whenever you want.
Yeah, we're going to other positions.
We can rant about this. We can rant about this.
It's just mind-boggling. It's not something you see the Eagles typically do. They don't trade 2 pass rushers in their prime. Yeah. So the question at the end of the day is, why do they want to do it? And that's the question.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's move on to. Is there anything else you want to say about the Hassan Reddick and Sweat thing, or are we just in wait and see mode?
Yeah, I mean, this is wait and see mode. Wait and see mode for both of those moves. If both moves happen, I'll be like, wow. Like, what are they doing? I would be
surprised. I don't think both moves will happen. Maybe one, but
there's no way they're relying on the draft that much if they're losing 2 guys. And if they don't get Huff at all, then there's got to be something else going on. Because I mean, this might not even happen Monday. I mean, both trades might not even happen.
No, it doesn't have to be Monday. It could happen. The Eagles might not pull a trigger on that until they get a guy like Huff signed.
But if they're planning on getting rid of them, if there is a chance they're getting rid of both of them, like, we're going to see if they actually sign a defensive end Monday. Because if someone gets signed to a big deal, somebody's leaving.
I think
So
if I had to guess, if I had to bet money on which one, if you said which one's most likely to go, I should have made it a poll question before we started. I think it's Sweat. I think Reddick's more likely to stay and play out the final year of his contract. But I mean, we'll see. Drew, Damer Super Chat. He goes, breaking news: Eagles just signed Nate Gary. Oh, now we're going to win a Super Bowl. We got Nate Gary. Oh, that was the worst. That was the worst. What are your thoughts on Justin Simmons, though, since they did bring him up? He's a free agent. He best years with Vic Fangio, and Vic Fangio knows him well.
Okay. We didn't want to trade for Justin Simmons. I think we could both agree. We didn't want to trade for him, give draft picks up to Denver for him. Getting him as a free agent is obviously, yes, there's other safeties out there that are probably going to be maybe a little bit cheaper. I don't know what the price is going to be for Justin Simmons, but he loves Vic Fangio, loves the scheme,
Right.
Loves playing for him. The connection is there, playing at an all-pro level still. How long are you looking for? It's got to be obviously a couple of years. I wouldn't think it's going to be a crazy long contract, but it's definitely something to consider that they might do.
Yeah, I think he's definitely in play, being that Vic Fangio knows him. Me on a personal level, I would rather go in another direction.
Younger.
Not
You rather
because
go
I don't like.
younger.
I just want to go younger. I don't want, because let's say you sign Simmons. Let's say he gives you a good year, maybe 2 good years, and then in 2 years we're doing this again. Like let's get the position locked up.
Who's your guy?
long-term.
Who's your guy?
CJ Gardner-Johnson. He'd be my first choice.
Over McKinney?
Yeah, I'll take CJ Gardner-Johnson. And the reason why I take CJ Gardner-Johnson is because I think he gives your defense a certain attitude, a certain swagger. I like how he carries himself. I like how the team kind of plays. I think he gets them juiced up. And I thought that there was a swagger that he has that the Eagles didn't have last year. To me, there's no way that Bradberry gets pushed around in that pregame versus the 49ers with CJ Gardner-Johnson.
And a lot of Eagle fans will say to you, because of what you just said, a lot of Eagle fans will come up to you and say, I don't know what's this love affair with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Why is the swagger leadership so important if the guy is probably one of the – but some people don't think he's the best safety that's on the market right now. Like, some people just think that. Are you going to put the leadership standpoint over skill, at a position? That's
no, but it plays a part. I also look at him and I think that, man, he played 1 full year as a safety with us. Then, of course, he was injured with Detroit, and that's one fair concern that people can bring up about him. But I think he's young at the position. I think that being that he's still young in his career and he hasn't played safety a lot. I like the idea of having him in 2-3 years. I think he could be one of the best safeties in the league. Not to mention, I like the versatility that when you have injury, he can move into the slot.
And he's cost effective because he had an injury all year. So how much is he really going to want? And we don't even know what the is the bridge. Is the bridge burned between Howie Roseman and Chauncey? Like, did we don't even really know the information. We don't know on that. We know like Xavier McKinney, guys like that will get. They're going to get a lot of money. I mean, from the rumors of what the free agency is going to look like for the needs for the Eagles, running back and safety are going to be the 2 positions where the market is not going to be too high. It's going to be two positions that will be very affordable, which is great. So maybe some of these safeties aren't going to get what they think they're going to get.
Right,
So.
Exactly. So we got 700 people in the chat between both channels. Thank you guys so much. If you're in my channel, click the link and go sub up my man Joey Shakes. We appreciate you guys being here. VJ, thank you for super chat. He goes, "What up, gang? Just checking in. All in this year, man. Thank you, man. I hope we're all in this year. It's hard to say what's going to happen. Let me get this chat up real quick. Wiser, thank you for super chat. He goes, Eagles is making room for Micah Parsons next year. Dude, it could happen. Could happen. Man, Dallas might be sick of him by then. Never stress David Super Chat goes, laugh out loud. Go for the younger Simmons, Isaiah Simmons. He's talking about Isaiah Simmons.
Another hybrid player. Yeah, he got traded to the Giants for nothing. It was like a 6th round pick.
Nothing. Yeah.
Whatever it was.
Is he a free agent? Is he a free agent this year?
I think he had one. I think he only had a year left. I think.
Well, he wouldn't cost you a lot of money.
No,
that's for sure. Yeah, I mean, I like Xavier McKinney. If the Eagles go out and get him, I have no issue with it at all. I would like to see a younger corner, though. I mean, younger safety. But I fully admit Justin Simmons may be the best fit of them all.
Yeah.
In terms of, but that's immediate need. That's going to be immediately. He's going to come in, and for a year or two, he should be fine.
And
unless he's getting old. But
and he's a leader too.
Then what?
And he's got leader, and Justin Simmons big leadership too. You can't forget that either.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So
yeah, Denver is. Are they going to trade Patrick Surtain? I would think that he'd be like the one guy that would not. They wouldn't trade. But I mean, you see, Russell Wilson met with the Giants. He's met with the Giants. He's meeting with teams now. So,
yeah,
it's going to be interesting. I would like to see C.J. Gardner-Johnson come back. I would. I think he's a natural ball hawk. I love the swagger. Yeah, he's had some injuries. I agree with that. That's one knock on him. But he hasn't played this position in a long time, and I think he's only going to get better. If I can't get him, I would go with Xavier McKinney. That would be my second choice.
Do you think they double down and get Chauncey and somebody else, and then Reed becomes the number 3?
Could you imagine get CJ and Justin Simmons? Now you're talking.
Yeah.
Now you're talking, Joey. Now you're talking.
Mm-hmm.
I like I said earlier, I believe that free agency will deal with safeties, linebackers, wide receiver, and running back. I think the draft is going to deal with the offensive line, defensive line, and cornerback. In no particular order. I'm not saying which is going to be more, but I think that's where they're going to get those guys. CJ and Simmons realistic thing, I don't know. I mean, I really don't know if it is, but if I had to bet the odds of what safety lands in Philly, I would probably give Justin Simmons the best odds. Yes. I think he's the most realistic possibility. Because there's stuff like you said with CJ Gardner-Johnson, we just don't know.
We'll find out.
And stuff like that. But Justin Simmons, yeah, he fits in right away. He's a Vic Fangio guy. Do you still think Van Ginkel's coming? I still think he's coming.
I think Van Ginkel, and then the other news that came out this week at linebacker, Jerome Baker from Miami, and he's a really good coverage guy from Miami. And he was supposed to get his contract restructured, didn't agree to a restructure, and he's welcome to go back to Miami. I think Jerome Baker and Van Ginkel are two options at linebacker, no doubt.
Yeah. Weiser, thank you for super chat. He goes, McKinney's the best safety, though. Hey, listen, I have no issue with Xavier McKinney.
Where are they putting their money? That's the question. Where do they want to put their money?
I like him. If they want to get him, I'm perfectly okay with that. I just really think that C.J. Gardner-Johnson, man, he just gives you something that they really lacked last year. Ridiculous says, ridiculous, I like that. Says, we're definitely getting Simmons. Fangio needs guys that understand and cover the system at the higher level. Other play, I agree. Yeah, if I had to put my odds for which is the most likely safety, it's Simmons.
Guys that aren't going to complain. Guys that aren't going to complain of the scheme. And I actually have a continuance. Somebody just sent me a continuance of what McMullen said after that tweet about the defensive line. So I'll read it out right now. So it says, this does not mean the Eagles don't value the talent of Reddick and Sweat, but rebooting is possible under the right circumstances.
What does that mean? I know that they value the talent, but why would it even be why would this even be a possible? Like, why would you even take calls? Like, of all the years I watched the Eagles, I can't remember the Eagles trying to trade two. I can't remember them trying to trade one pass rusher who was in the prime of his career, let alone two. So to me, the fact that they're even willing to listen, it means something. I don't know what it means. I don't want to make a bigger deal out of it than it is, but it's obviously there's something that they see. Do they look at a guy like Huff and say, yeah, this guy is going to end up being like Reddick. We can get him cheaper. Do they look at Nolan Smith and see something and go, man, he's ready to be a monster next year?
Well,
I don't know, but something's up.
Well, I think it's from what that says. I think it's scheme fit. I think it comes down to scheme fit. I think they like Nolan Smith because he's more athletic and can play that outside linebacker role. When need be. Like I think it comes down to scheme.
He needs to get a little stronger and bigger.
Yeah, he'll get another 15 pounds on him. Due time. Like I feel like it will happen. But I think it comes down to the scheme. I think Vic Fangio has his fingerprints all over this. It's not Howie. I think they have enough trust in Vic to they have, Nick didn't hire these coaches. Nick didn't hire the assistant coaches to Fangio and Kelmore. Kelmore hired his own guys. Vic Fangio hired his own guys. It wouldn't shock me if Vic Fangio has more control than we think. He doesn't like what's here. I mean, probably.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of control to give a guy who might be 2 years away from retiring. That's the only, that's my only issue with giving him all that, whatchamacallit. But I mean, we'll see. But if you guys are new, hit the like, make sure you subscribe. Definitely hit that like. Let's get them likes up on both channels. Click the link description, sub up my man Joey.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I don't know how many people. We got like over 700 people. So thank you everybody for being here. Rich EMC, David Super Chat goes, Nolan Smith and the 22nd pick would get what pick? If a team really valued Nolan Smith and liked him a lot, it probably could get you pretty high. But it would depend on what teams think of Nolan Smith and how good he's going to be and what his projection is. I would say into the top 12 to 13.
Maybe.
I would say.
Maybe. I mean.
But like I said, it depends on if there's a team out there that looks at him and says, we still have a first-round grade on him and we think he's going to be a good player, then I think you could do it. Yeah, I think you could. But it would depend. 4133 Davis Super Chat goes, what about Jamal Adams from Seattle? He looked bad recently, but still young, and if he gets right, he's one of the best safeties in the league.
Hell no.
I just don't think he can cover. I don't want anything to do with it.
How old is he?
I don't know. He's got to be about 28 years old, I would think.
I'm not into it.
Let me see. I would think he's about 28 years old, but I just think he reminds me of the Giants' old safety. I forget his name that went to Washington. Just can't cover. He can't cover.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Huh?
No, I forgot. I know who you're talking about though.
Yeah, his name's slipping my mind, but he can't cover. Yeah, he's 28 years old. He'll be 29 in October. Now, I'd stay away. Brother Hannibal says the Chargers could be moving on from Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack. The premier pass rushers might be on the outs in coming days. Pro Football Talk. Yeah, that's what I heard. Now, Khalil Mack also is a Vic Fangio guy. He was with Vic in Chicago. He's also coming off 17 sacks last year, 17 and a half sacks. He's also old. I feel like the problem with Khalil Mack is it could be like a Robert Quinn situation. He had that one really good last year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'd stay away.
Yeah, I'm not really into. I've never really been into Khalil Mack too much, but
no, when he was in his prime,
yeah.
But he's old now. I think he's too old. You know, it's going to be so fascinating to see what this team does, because I still, the way I look at this team going into free agency is, I don't think this team's far away from going back to the big game and being one of the best teams.
No.
If they make the right moves. But then you hear about things like trading Hassan Reddick and chopping Josh Sweat. It's like, wait, what's going on? It's like, what's going on here? It's crazy. Yeah, Landon Collins, that's who it was. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, he was in the box.
Right.
He's an in the box type guy. That's why.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's good. It's the one thing about the Eagles, man. It's always entertaining. I mean, you have to say that, right? They never cease to disappoint. They never cease to not disappoint. There's always something going on with this team.
Yeah.
That's really fun to watch. So we'll see,
Yeah, I agree.
Let's see. Sean says, I take Mac. At least he made it through the full season. He's what, 33, 30?
He's old.
God, he's old. I don't want the older player. I want young guys, man. I really want to get away from the young guys, It's I can't wait. When is it noon? Is it noon Eastern on Monday?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Legal tampering. So we got to wait a few hours, and then it's going to start coming in quickly. What do you think the first? What do you think the first signing the Eagles make is?
I think it's going to be running back.
That's it, baby. Let's go.
I think right from the start. They're not going to waste any time. Go get your guy in the backfield.
I knew you would have won right from the start.
But there's a couple.
Barkley.
There's a couple things that they could do. There was news that came out this morning, and obviously the Saquon news that's been out all week from that Dunleavy guy that covered the Giants. And he works for the New York Post. He used to cover the Giants, and said that there's a real big possibility Saquon, apparently has mutual interest to come to the Eagles. He's been looked at by, Houston, LA, Chargers, Chicago's another one. So Saquon to Philadelphia. Is that
I think listen, my first choice in the running back situation, like if I had to choose what to do, would be bring in Derrick Henry and bring back Swift. I like the idea of the complementary running back. That would be my number one dream scenario. But my number two would be Saquon Barkley. Richie MC says Swift is better than Barkley. I don't believe that. I think there's a lot of people that I don't think appreciate how good Barkley is. I think Barkley, he's had injury concerns, but man, he has played with absolutely nothing for his whole career with the Giants. I mean, they stink. The quarterback stinks. The line stinks. The receivers stink. He's had nothing. And to me, to put up the numbers he did, I think it makes perfect sense. I think that we all think the Eagles are against running backs, and I don't think they are. I just think that they want specific type of running back, and those running backs don't come around very often, so they go the cheap route. The Eagles very much wanted Christian McCaffrey. They very much called and inquired about him, right? The reports Dunleavy, what he said, he talked about how the Eagles tried to get him last year. The Eagles wanted him last year, but he got franchise tagged. Now you're looking at a position that is devalued in terms of money. The running backs are not making a lot of money. So if you could get Saquon Barkley under $10 million, I think Howie Roseman's going to do it. And I think they look at him and say he can do everything we want. He catches out of the backfield. He can block. He can run the ball. He's never played with talent like this. And I really, truly believe whether he goes to the Eagles, whether he goes to whoever he goes to, if he goes to a team that's good and that's a real competitor win, he will make the same impact Christian McCaffrey made on the 49ers. I believe that.
Now there's other news as well regarding DeAndre Swift. Two things. As a source suggested to me last night, DeAndre Swift re-signed with Philadelphia on a one-year deal is very possible, as the potential of the market not being as gracious to the position as expected. He'll test the market, but that doesn't mean he won't return. Far from a guaranteed he's not back. And the second thing, I forgot. I just lost it. No, I got it right here. I have right here. Yeah. Some more chatter over the last 48 hours about DeAndre Swift returning. He's a player Eagles really like, and I think him returning after testing the market is very possible.
I think that would be great. I would love it. But listen, let me tell you, the way that they use Swift, that doesn't mean they still don't go out and get another running back.
Right.
You get Barkley and Swift.
All right,
Do
relax.
it. If he's going to
Relax.
sign a 1-year deal pretty cheap, do it.
Well-
That's like mind blown right there, right? Because that would be crazy.
Well,
But
I think because
I
of
love
the,
Swift coming back, and I think Swift. I would love to see Swift come back, but the way that they use Swift is they don't use him, in my opinion, enough. Sure, I think Swift coming back to the Eagles on a 1-year deal is very, very possible.
yeah,
I do.
yeah. I mean, like part of it too is like I don't think he wants to wait. I think he wanted to come back. I think he still wants to come back from what reports are showing. I think he doesn't want to miss out on like being way too patient, fighting for more money throughout a week and then a second week, and then he loses. And I think he wants to come back. It's like the one team you've been successful with, your first Pro Bowl, your first 1,000-yard season to run behind this line. And I don't think he wants to lose that. So I think he's like going to check real quick what his number is going to be and not waste too much time on it and just go re-sign. I think that's what he wants to do.
If they resign Swift, I'm going to be the happiest man. I mean,
Mhm.
that to me, that's perfectly fine. You know, if you come away with Swift, or Barkley or Henry, like you come away with one of those 3 guys, I'm pretty happy. Even Jacobs, I'm happy.
Mhm.
But some of the other running backs, I don't want to touch. Like I don't want anything to do
Eckler.
with Pollard at all.
Eckler.
I don't want to do anything with Pollard. Like I don't want to do anything with those guys. But if you come away with Barkley, Swift, Henry, or Jacobs, I'm okay. I'm good with that. You know,
It's a good running back market to be. It's probably a one that's been good for a while. I mean, this hasn't happened in a while, so this is a really good class in the free agency.
Frank Reynolds says Swift has less than half the carries of Barkley. If you extrapolate them out, his numbers are better than Barkley. Yeah, but the problem with that is that you're not playing on the same offense. You're not playing with the same offensive line, same wide receivers. It's different. You put Barkley on there, and then if he comes up with those same number differences, then I think you got something. But the Giants, you can't underestimate the power of how much they stink. You know, you just can't. They stink. So to me, a guy like that, it's really hard for me to think that. It's hard for me to hold things against him. I really think whether Barkley could go end up in the Chargers or he can end up wherever. I think he'll put up huge numbers. I think he will.
Philly, he's had to put the team on his back. I mean, we were like pretty impressed with that new coaching staff with Brian DeBoll and the rest of the guys that were over there. We were kind of impressed. We're like, man, they're gonna start to change that team a little bit. They haven't done nothing. It's bad signing after bad signing. Not fixing the offensive line. You've been through 3 heads since Barkley's been there. 3 head coaches. Like it's a mess, dude. It's a mess.
I mean, when you play the Giants offensively, who scares you? I mean, really, it's all you care about is Barkley. Everybody's keen on Barkley. It's really bad. So I think Barkley, whether he goes to Philly or not, it doesn't matter. I just hope he goes to a team that actually is good, so that his talent can be shown how good this guy actually is. Because I think he's a hell of a player.
Did you see Tiki Barber's meltdown? Did you see that?
Yes.
Like,
that was beautiful thing.
But dude, he's acting as if like the Giants won like 3 Super Bowls with Barkley being there. Like he's acting as if like, don't go to Philadelphia. You go to Philadelphia, no one's gonna respect you. You know, don't go over there. You know, like he was like flipping out. Like, shut up.
Like anybody respects you guys now. Like you know, yeah, I know he was crying. To me, that tells me that they know that
he's going to be dangerous.
Barber knows. They all know what kind of impact he would make for the Eagles. You know, to me, Saquon Barkley on the Eagles. I think that I don't think you have any weaknesses on offense, really. I mean, you still need to get a wide receiver number 3. You still have some issues maybe with the line, some depth things. But I mean, that's scary. And the way that they could use Barkley, I mean, really, they should be using Swift the same way because you could use them. But I think that when people tell me Swift is better than Barkley, I don't think that's true. I really think Barkley just needs to go somewhere on a good team. Wherever he goes, whether it's the Eagles or somewhere else,
better.
I hope it's not. I just want him to go somewhere good where he could show what he's got and how good he is.
Yeah, wherever
you know,
wherever
as
he
long
goes,
as it's not
it's
Dallas.
going to be better. It's going to be better wherever he goes. Doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, it's going to be. It's going to be. Yeah, I mean that's one of the this is one of the worst offenses that have been around in a long time, and they just stink. Brooks, thank you for super chat. He goes, honestly, would like another tight end in case Goddard gets injured again. I could totally see the Eagles drafting another tight end in the mid rounds.
Yeah, mid rounds.
Something I totally could, huh?
Yeah, mid rounds. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Albert O will have a big opportunity.
Barkley. Yeah, the Chargers are supposed to be one of those teams that are strongly contending for Barkley. Really, the two teams I've heard the most about with Barkley are the Chargers and the Eagles. I think Barkley would be great with the Chargers. I think Barkley would be top 3 running back in the next few years. I mean, with Harbaugh there and what they're going to do with that team, yeah, I think that would be a great fit for them. If I was Barkley, I would go to Chargers. I would have no problem with it. You know, you put Barkley around, you put some talent around him, and then let's see what he does. You know.
Yeah. Agreed.
I mean, dude, I wouldn't be surprised if Dallas makes a run at him. To be honest with you, I mean, I still think Dallas needs a running back. You know, we need a running back. Dallas needs a running back too. You know, a lot of people think they're going to get Derrick Henry, which I hope that doesn't happen, dude.
Yeah.
You know, Barkley might be, Texans another one. I mean, wherever he goes, I want him to just go somewhere where there's talent, you know. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Dallas misses having a big back. Yeah, that's true. I also think that Kellen Moore would know how to utilize him. Even though he doesn't run the ball a lot and stuff, or at least he's been by Cowboy fans that, you know, they used to bitch that he didn't run enough. He did a good job with his backs.
What if he picked up Swift and had Zeke as rotational? I'm not saying it as a joke. I'm being serious.
Yeah. I mean, the problem is I don't know what he has left.
Yeah.
I would rather, instead of Zeke, I'd rather Dillon.
AJ Dillon.
You want to do Swift and Dillon, that I would be very interested in. I think the perfect complementary piece, though, for Swift is Henry. Like that would just be like thunder, some big ass thunder and some lightning. You know,
yeah,
I would love that.
Just have Derrick Henry press Jalen Hurts over the tush push, and you're fine.
That's all you have to do, man. I would love to see that combination. That's my dream scenario. More than Barkley, and I don't mind Barkley, but man, you're Swift and Henry in the backfield. Oh man, dude, I love it. Nifty, thank you for super chat. He goes, hoping Cooper DeJean gets drafted here. Yeah, we will see. We'll see. Dad says, I see Henry to Dallas. I can too. That's a scary thing, you know. SMD Eagles says, Eagles won't pay Henry or Barkley or Jacobs. I don't know. I don't know if that. I don't know that I believe that, especially with Barkley, because one, we know that they tried to get McCaffrey before. They had no problem. Remember, they re-signed Shady McCoy back when Howie was the GM. They re-signed him. They had no problem doing it. It was Chip Dip Kelly that re-signed that traded him away. And then 3, the running back is so devalued right now. They're talking that did you see that the value of what Barkley's expected to make is like under $10 million?
Yeah, because that's
so yes. I mean that's a bargain.
Apparently, the Eagles had interest last. There was rumors that the Eagles had interest last year before he was tagged. Like there was Eagles had a lot of interest in him as well. So yeah, could be the time to pounce on get it. But
yeah, I think if it's the right running back for the Eagles, they don't mind. If it's not the right running back, they won't. You know, they won't do anything. But it has to be the right running back. I think they'll probably try to talk to Barkley, and if it don't work out, I think Swift's the guy that they go and get, which I'm perfectly happy with DeAndre Swift. I want DeAndre Swift back either way. To be honest with you.
Yes. I
don't even if you went and got Barkley, I want Swift back. I think Swift needs to be here. You need more than one running back. I mean, we only have one running back on the roster right now, really.
Your favorite guy.
Yeah, we got old Kenneth Gainwell. He's going to kick everybody's ass. Nifty, thank you for super chat. He goes, "Do we have extra draft picks? Get a running back late round. They've got what 8 draft picks this year. We got
9, I
8
think.
picks. I thought it was 8, but we got plenty of picks. But my opinion of the running back class is that,
Braylon Allen's like the only guy I'd want. Like Braylon Allen's a beast,
they don't.
but that's
I'm not
about
super
it.
excited about the running backs coming out. I'm not saying that there won't be any good ones, but to me, I'm more interested in the free agency list of running backs. So it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
I love weed. What's going on? He goes, Philly and Joey, did you all get your Kelsey shirtless fun? Go laugh out. What good boy? What's going on, man? No, I didn't get it. But I tell you that whole Kelsey retirement thing was
tough to watch.
I was crying like a baby. Man, that was awesome. Ricky says, "Why not Swift and Barkley?" That's what I'm talking about. That would be really good, man. What do you do if the Eagles, if all these things started happening? What would you think of this team? I mean, you get rid of some of your big contract guys in Reddick and Sweat, but you replace them, let's say, with guys that are cheaper that have the ability to go out and get double-digit sacks. You go out, you get a franchise running back like a Barkley. I mean, what would your overall opinion of what you think this just happened to this team would be?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't think of it in a negative way. I would think that they're just turning a different direction from the scheme that they're running, and I just feel like they're not afraid to make moves. I think there's a lot of flexibility. You have draft capital, you have more money. Normally you don't have this amount of, over $40 million in cap space, and they can get more. That's what they're thinking too. With Reddick being gone, you're going to be over 50, close to 60 by that point. So it's just, you have to think of the possibilities. If they only had like 20 something $million, they would just be very, because last year's free agency was probably pretty bad. I mean, you didn't really have any impactful players from free agency last year. Barely, if you want to maybe say Zach Cunningham, maybe. As the best out of the bunch. But,
exactly. Yeah, I cannot wait to see what happens this free agency. Everybody, if you're new to the channel or not, hit the like button. Let's get over 200 likes on my channel. Let's get Joey over 200 likes too. Hit the like on both channels. Click the link in the description. Sub up Joey if you haven't. Sub Philly 500 up if you haven't. And thank you guys for being here. This is going to be quite a week. It's going to be very busy for us. Asia Robertson, member for 40 months. What is going on, Asia Robertson? Hey, Philly 500 and Joey Shakes. What's going on? How are you?
What up?
It's going to be interesting.
I didn't think it was going to change. This defense is going to change. It's going to change. I mean, I'd rather be over the cap $100 million if we were to get rid of one player. That's about all I could say.
I mean, do you think they're going to invest like real money in linebackers though? Like, I mean, is there any way that we come away with like Patrick Queen and Van Ginkel or something like that?
Yeah, Patrick Queen probably not, because he'll probably be the top linebacker that's going to have so many suitors, and it's going to be a bidding war like crazy. Not like anyone else has a bidding war, but because I think Fangio has that pull with Jerome Baker and he has that pull with Van Ginkel, I think it's going to lure them over to Philadelphia a little bit easier than going for Patrick Queen that's just going to sit there for probably a week and a half and see where he wants to go. I think they're going to invest. I think they will invest.
Yeah. I think they have to invest, but I got to tell you, I'm still just thrown for a loop with the whole Sweat thing. Like, it just throws me for a loop, just I wasn't expecting that, really wasn't. Let's see here. Andrew Sanchez, thank you for the super chat, my man. 500, my wife is missing. Oh, I wonder where this is going. Can you check under Joey's desk for her? Joey, is there anybody under your desk?
No.
Nobody's under his desk. Nobody. No, she's really not there. 41-33. You know where you should check? Well, maybe not. But for some wives, you just got to check the kitchen because they're never in the kitchen. So check down. 41-30 David Super Chat. He goes, I think Howie let Swift go. He's worth a 4th-round compensatory pick. Is he really? And there's so many options at running back. And as you know, Howie loves the compensatory picks. So he's worth a 4th-round pick?
I don't know. That I don't know.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting to me.
Well, he ain't coming back if that's the case. Got to get that 4th rounder.
What did you think about the Commanders? They're supposed to be interested in Swift. Big time.
Yeah, they can do whatever they want.
They signed Ertz, dude.
They got over $90 million in cap space. They can do whatever they want. Yeah, they signed Ertz to a $4 or $5 million deal. Like, dude, Zach Ertz must have no interest from any teams. Like, he signed with the Lions last playoffs and then they lost, but he's got no interest at all. There's no interest with Zach Ertz. He's not the same player anymore. You know, I don't know. He's gonna ruin himself. So,
dude, he literally pulled off the biggest ring chasing thing ever. I mean, nobody has ever ring chased that hard. He didn't sign till the NFC Championship game. I mean, he waited till the end to find who was in the NFC Championship game. Bald Eagle, thank you for the super chat. He goes, wait, what happened with Swift? Nothing happened with Swift. The Eagles are interested in bringing back DeAndre Swift. And Swift would like to come back, is from what we know. What we've heard is that there's interest with teams like the Commanders are supposedly going to make a run for Swift. So we'll see. Weiser, thank you for super chat. He goes, let's go get linebacker Thor. If there's ever one guy I really sure believe is going to be an Eagle, it's Van Ginkel. I think he's coming. I think Justin Simmons is coming. I think Saquon Barkley is coming. And I think I'm going to pause now.
We got a super chat from a membership of King says, member for 13 months. Appreciate it so much. He says, just got on. What I missed? Anything new? Update. We're just talking about just all of the rumors from this week, and within another 24 hours, we're buckling up for Howie Vision. What's going to happen in the next few days? How much different is this roster going to change? What is up their sleeve, and some of the changes they're making on the defensive side of the ball, and what they could add to the offensive side? So it's a lot of different things.
Yeah, Philly D. Davis Super J goes, can I time out John Doe? I mean, if he did something wrong, if he did something he's not supposed to say, then yeah. If it's, if he did something that's, racist, overt spam, threatening to hurt somebody, if he did something like that, then do it. If he's just talking and just getting under your nerves, then let him go. Let him go. Rob Brown says Queen got much better when Roquan Smith signed. Is Queen really Batman, or is he really good Robin? It's a good question. He's going to get paid like Batman. I don't know. I like Queen. I would take a chance on him, but I mean, I think that's a fair question because he is right. He really. That Roquan Smith trade, why didn't we trade for Roquan Smith like that?
Because we don't do shit like that.
Jeez.
Hopefully that changes.
Hopefully it changes, yeah.
Hopefully.
I mean, listen, dude, if this team is trading, I know you're joking, Philly D. I know you're joking. King of Kings ever super chat. He goes, thanks, Joey.
Yeah, I got you, bro. I got you.
Weiser, new member, Dingbat Nation, thank you so much for joining, Weiser. Appreciate you, man. Thank you, and welcome to the family. The fact that the Eagles are willing to trade 2 pass rushers in their prime, the fact that they're even considering it tells me that they are changing philosophies about something. So, like it's got to be something, right? Change of philosophy, not happy with certain things with the players. I mean, it has to be something. This is not what the Eagles normally do. So maybe it is a change of philosophy.
He's bringing accountability. I don't know. Vic Fangio is changing things. So that's what it seems like. It's all Vic. I think
Yeah.
it's all Vic Fangio. It's
Man,
not Nick
he's got a
Sirianni.
lot. You think he's got a lot of influence?
Yes.
Then. Like he
Yes.
could just go and say to them, "Oh, I want to get rid of Reddick and Sweat because they don't really fit." I mean, Reddick had double-digit sacks regardless of what happened at the end of the year. He had double-digit sacks last year. How can he not fit? Because he can't cover? I mean, they're talking about bringing Bryce Huff. You're talking about bringing a guy as a pass rush specialist. Why not treat Reddick that way?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe they think that he's not. Maybe they don't think they can hold on to him on a bigger contract. Maybe they think that they need somebody younger. It could be age. It could be.
What about
a whole
Sweat,
bunch of
though?
things?
See, Sweat's the hard one because he's 25 years old.
Well, that's the thing with Sweat though, because like if you want to get value out of a player and not wait, do you want Sweat to hit free agency or do you want to get value for him right now while you have a chance? And I think that's what Howie's thinking right now with Josh Sweat and with the draft. I think it comes into effect with the draft picks that you have and how much more you can add, and it's all full circle of what other things they could do. The more draft compensation they have, the more ammo they have to do whatever the hell they want to do.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can see one of them gone. If I see both of them gone, it's like very eye-opening.
If you had to choose one that you would want to keep, one you want to get rid of, who would it be?
Oh, Sweat's,
I know that's not
Sweat's
easy
gone.
question.
Sweat's gone.
Sweat's gone?
Yeah, probably because I can always add somebody. I could probably add a better piece, to be honest.
Right.
With the money you have, you can add a better piece.
I still don't think. See, that's the thing. Despite all this stuff, I'm not for 1 second wanting to trade. I do not want to trade Hassan Reddick. I do not think you should be trading Hassan Reddick. I still don't understand how you can take your best playmaker on defense and trade him. I just don't see how that should even be consideration. You're not going to get a first-round pick for him. So why would you do it?
Yeah.
I don't know. No one, thank you for super chat. He goes, I love the idea of Huff, Barkley, and McKinney. Yeah, I like that too. Jeez. Draft cornerback in the first, linebacker and wide receiver in the second. I would love Swift back, but Barkley's better, done more with less. Yeah, I would love Swift back too, but I agree. I think Barkley on a good team is going to be really, really. I think he's going to be a monster. I do think that the linebackers are going to be free agents, though. I think they're going to I think they're going to go out and get Van Ginkel. I think
get two guys.
Linebackers. Yeah, I think. Like I said, if you missed it earlier, I was saying I believe free agency would be running back, wide receiver, safeties, linebackers. I thought that was where they would primarily focus. I guess you might have to put pass rusher in that now with all the stuff going on. And then in the draft, I really thought it would be defensive end or edge rusher, offensive line, and then corners. I thought that would be their early focus.
What are you aiming at wide receiver?
I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. I was thinking about, would you take a chance on a guy like a Mike Williams? But I think you need speed in that slot.
Yeah.
So you got to give me somebody with some speed.
Deontay Johnson from Steelers, he just got released the other day or this morning.
Yeah,
he got released.
He might
He's
be not a bad
guy.
guy. Yeah, I don't think they want to spend a lot of money. I don't think you're going to spend a lot of money at the wide receiver 3 position because you're already paying your top 2 guys. One of the ballsy moves that we talked about, and this is out of the box, and the whole Saquon Barkley thing. I mean, we talked about Saquon Barkley before anybody, and it was purely out of the box type thinking. But now it looks like there's rumors. So out of the box thinking in the draft would be draft a wide receiver in round 1 and put him right in the slot, and then you have the guy that takes over for A.J. Brown 3 years down the road. That would be ballsy, and I mean that's an out of the box type move, and it would depend on what you do in free agency.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, at the end, like, if you draft a receiver in the first round, are you looking for a bigger receiver? Are you looking for, can McConkey be like? Are you going to put a guy similar to, if AJ Brown leaves? You're going to put a guy that's like an Xavier Worthy or a McConkey, like has a similar size to Avonte Smith as a future receiver? Or are you looking for that bigger, like that Mitchell from Texas?
Donis Mitchell guy.
Donis Mitchell, yeah.
Yeah. See, I think if you went first round, I think you got to look for a guy that could play in the slot and then move the outside, and you're going to want a complementary piece. So I think it'd have to be a bigger guy with some speed.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to have like extreme speed, but he's got to be, able to run. That's what I would think. If you don't take him the first, you go like second round wide receiver, third round receiver. I think you go for like one of those guys that purely a slot receiver that'll be there for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's okay too.
Yeah.
Hi, Orions. Welcome to Dingbat Superfans, my man. Thank you for joining. Welcome to Dingbat Superfans. Appreciate you. Thank you. It's gonna be fascinating, Tons of wide receivers up to 130 in this draft. Yeah, I think so. Now the Eagles always haven't had success in drafting wide receivers, so we have to keep that in mind. I mean, that would be like an out-of-the-box type crazy move.
Right.
Like that would surprise people. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't see how at this point, you're not drafting a pass rusher. Although I really, like, if you said to me, who do I want to draft right now? I'm drafting that Mitchell kid from Toledo, the corner. That's where I would go. I would go cornerback first round.
Yeah.
I want a corner that I can plug and play right away. That's what I would do. But let me ask you this: do you think Bradberry is going to be on this roster?
I would say not. No, I don't think they're waiting for a post June. I don't think they're waiting for anything. I think it's like they just haven't done it yet. I mean, you're going to extend Bradberry. I mean, you're going to extend him a couple of years and then spread out the dead cap. I mean, that's what you're going to do.
So you think they'll give him an extension and then trade him?
Yeah. No, cut him and just eat it up. It's going to be single-digit dead money if they extend him for a couple of years.
What is the dead money now? I don't know offhand. Do you know offhand? I
think it's like 10. I think it's like 10. I could check. I think it's like I thought it was like 10, but I could be wrong. Let me check.
Bradberry's got to go, but Howie did say at the press conference that Bradberry's part of our plans next year, so he could just be saying that because he kind of has to.
Yeah, almost 11. He's 10.8. He's 10.8 million.
So he's 10.8 million, no cap savings, right?
His caps. Yeah, the cap saving. Yeah, the cap. Oh no, never mind. No, I'm wrong. 24. It's 15.1 dead
money.
10.8 savings. Yeah.
Wait, savings or in the hole?
15. Yeah, it's 10 in the hole. 15 dead.
So you're 10 in the hole, so you lose $10 million in cap.
Yes, 10.8
if you cut them. Let me.
So they're gonna.
I gotta see some. Here, let me see. Where is he? Bradberry, Stinkberry. Where are you? I'm looking for him. Here we go. All right, let me do this. I might as well pull it up on the whatchamacallit. Let's let me pull it up, and then I'll share the screen. Because a lot of people assume Bradberry is going to get cut, but can the Eagles really afford to cut him? And if they can't afford to cut him, what does that mean with how they approach the cornerback situation? Okay, let me share the screen here. All right, and let me know you see that and stuff.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So Bradberry, dead money, $15 million. So they would have to eat $15 million, and then the $10.8 million cap savings is in red. So that means the Eagles would lose $10.8 million in cap. If they cut him in 2025, they'll save then $3 million. So what about post June? If they cut him post June, they still lose $10 million, but they still lose $6 million. They dead $10 million in dead money, $6 million in cap space. I don't.
You might have to cut him post. I mean, you might have to cut him post, or you're going to have to cut him extend him and cut him post. That's
if you extend them. If you extend them, you get 0 dead money and 120,000 cap savings.
Or you keep him on the roster this year.
Restructure the same way. If they restructure his contract, they can save $120,000. But trading him, a trade post June 1st, you would save $2.7 million and only $1 million and 1.5. But who's going to want him?
No. I mean, his cap number is low. It's not a high cap number. I mean, it's a low cap number.
No, it's $4.3 million. But it's the dead. Well, it's the dead money that kills you. 15 million dead money, and then it's jeez, yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be. They're going to
keep him benched. Just bench his ass. Keep him benched.
That's what I'm saying. Season. That's right. That's what you have to do. Just bench him. Bench him and keep him on the bench. Draft that kid from Toledo, or that kid from Alabama, Arnold, or Kool-Aid. Like, draft the corner that you can play right away.
Mm-hmm.
That might be the best situation, because if you need a reason, you get a young rookie that's not going to kill you money-wise, that you want to start, it may make up for having to bench him. But I don't think Bradberry is going to go. I think Bradberry is going to be on the roster, man. I don't know. I don't see how they're going to get out of it.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think if they extend him post June, and then cut him, it'll be a lot lower. They'll cut it in half or more than that.
Yeah. Swipe ain't shit. Thank you for super chat. He goes, Jamari Trash, Louisville receiver for wide receiver 3. Okay. Thank you for super chat. We will see. So, and Cameron says they won't bench. I don't think they'll bench him either. But if let me ask you this: if he stays on the roster, does that change anything to do with your philosophy of how they're going to draft or what they're going to do in free agency?
Do you think he's going to still start if he's on the roster?
Yeah, I think you're going to start him.
No, you're gonna blame 2 of the best defensive linemen for everything else of failure of this defense, and this guy is always 10 yards behind somebody when he's 15 yards off.
I agree.
Come on, Philly.
No, I'm not making it. It's not my philosophy.
It's your fault.
I'm just saying, from a money standpoint, how are they going to get? You're going to have to bench him. You have to bench him. You have to bench him.
It's only $4.3 million. Like, who? So what if you bench him? So what? So what?
Yeah,
if you need him, you put him in.
Yeah, he's 8. Let's see. He's $4.3 million. He's got 8.8 guaranteed. So he's got a guaranteed of 8.8, and he's 4.3 against the cap. Yeah, I don't see any choice but to bench him. You have to be a backup. I just don't think he's going to be off the roster.
4.3 is like veteran minimum, almost. It's like, I'm fine with that.
8.8 million in salary.
You got to keep him
4.3 against the cap.
I think because the post June is a lot cheaper. It's a lot cheaper in what we're going to owe than what we're going to eat up post June. If you extend him post June a couple years and then cut him, it's going to be single digits cheaper. It'll be in the single digits for a few years. It'll be low amounts every year, maybe $4 to $5 million every year you have to eat up for the next 3 years, whatever, which isn't that bad. But it has to be post June though, because it's going to be way too expensive. It's going to be way too, even if you extend pre June, it's going to be too expensive. But I don't know. It's up to them, really. I don't know. I think you have to bench him. I don't think. I think he's going to be on this roster now, but I think you'll have to bench him.
Bob Brown says Sweat's contract runs through 2028 with a potential out in 2024 at $14 million in dead cap. He doesn't fit Vic's system, so they probably get out in 24. He's young and has value, so trading him makes sense. What are you going to get for him? That's the question. I do think they're going to trade him. Based upon the reports that we heard, I heard.
Your mic's off.
Hear me now?
You're good.
You hear me? You hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. My microphone died. But what I was saying was, they ran the Fangio scheme last year. 2 years ago, he had over 10 sacks. So I think he can play in the system.
You had a pass rush in 22. You had a pass rush. You almost had a generational defense that year that could have broke records up the ass that year. It makes it look easy on corners when you have a pass rush like that. When you can't hit home, it's a problem. It's a problem.
Well, they had one of the worst sack rates on third down last year. Listen, I agree with Bob Brown though. I think he's going to go. I think Sweat's more likely to get traded than than Hassan Reddick.
Yes,
and I think it's going to happen. I just don't know what they're going to get for him. Can you get a second-round pick? If you can, what if you get a second-round pick? That'd be unbelievable.
Bye.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
See ya.
I agree. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Broke records up the ass. Famous words on Shake. Pause. Yes. Up the ass. John Jones says, don't know why Howie keeps older players. Well, this is a thing that I think they need to get away from. I think part of that, and the reason why, is because when you miss on the draft picks that you've missed on, you have to go out and spend money in free agency. And a lot of times, these guys who are good, they don't really become available until 28, 29, right in that 29, 28 to 30-year-old range. So that's why they have these guys. Sidney Brown didn't pan out as a corner. He should have been in his prime right now if he panned out. We haven't had corners pan out. We have to go out and then spend money in free agency to get these guys. I think that's what it's about,
Yeah, that's what they did after the Super Bowl. They weren't hitting on the drafts, and they kept restructuring old players, and it catches up to you sooner or later, and it did. So,
yeah, and then I think the other part of that is that players that have been with the franchise for a long time, it's hard for them to get rid of. Like, they don't want to let the Fletcher Cox and Brandon Grahams and Kelsey's go.
Yeah, potentially, yeah, because even Brandon Graham signed his deal, and Brandon Graham even said on radio that there is a chance Fletch could come back. It's really up to him. So it hasn't. There's been rumors that he's retiring, but there's still a chance he might come back as a depth piece. So
he was good last year, though.
Yeah,
he played good. So I have no problem bringing him back for the right price. But Carter and Davis got to be those guys, and I think Milton Williams got to work in too. I think he's very talented. It really dealt the whole Sweat. Reddick thing is really fascinating, dude, to see what's going on,
It is, bro. It is.
Guardians above said the book of Isaiah reveals much through prophecy, though. I thought you were talking about Isaiah Rogers.
The book of Isaiah.
Randy says, trade with the Falcons by giving them Reddick and our first for the 8th overall pick and a 3rd. I don't think the Falcons would do that. I don't think they would do that. I don't know that Reddick could net you a 2nd-round pick. I think maybe a 3rd, Now, do you think Ladd McConkey, because Frank says Ladd McConkey would be a good wide receiver number 3? I like him. I think he will be a good number 3. You think he's what round do you think he's going to end up going?
Top of the 2nd. I'd say right on the verge between the late 1st to the beginning of the 2nd.
Yeah, he's going to be. He would be.
But
he would be a perfect slot receiver for the
yeah. Well, that's not like a slot receiver. Fine as a future paired with Avonte Smith. No, like that's why like I like these guys for right now at wide receiver 3, but for the future, no.
Yeah. The
Unless
thing is,
as a wide receiver,
you could be in a situation where you have Devontae Smith and he's really good, and you have one of the best slot receivers in the league, and then you just have to figure it out on the outside later when that time comes. I mean that's possible to happen too, and you'd still have 2 good wide receivers. So I don't know. There's a lot of questions going on right now, and we're about 24 hours away from figuring it out. Well, yeah, 24 hours, I'd say.
I mean,
yeah, 24 hours.
Early, yeah, because once like it hits 12, then obviously these, the Eagles could talk to all the agents for all the players that are available, and that's when things start to get kind of crazy. And I'm wondering, like, what's their main priority, like first day out the gate? Is it going to be quiet as it usually is for like a few hours, or is it going to be like boom, like something's going to happen within like the hour that they want to get done and get out of the way? So we'll see.
I will say this: if they are really serious about trading, and it's like you said, they're really serious trading those defensive end and a outside linebacker pass rusher. Like if you're really serious about trading those pass rushers, they're going to go out right away and strike in free agency for pass rushers. They got to, because the report said that they were going to replace them right away, immediately. That means they're willing to go out there and pay people. Specific people that they have to have in mind. So I think that would be the first move right away. Like if you see Huff sign with the Eagles like right away, I think there's a good chance that they're rebuilding that whole line or those pass rushers.
Yeah, one of them. Someone's If Huff gets signed, someone's gone. Like someone's already on the way out.
We agree, live. We agree. Brandon Smith says 500. The Eagles are now the betting favorite to Saquon Barkley next team.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe they were top 2 or 3 before that. Listen, I actually think the Saquon Barkley to the Eagles, I think that's very real. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I think the Eagles are very much interested in that. I think Howie is, because I think Howie looks at Saquon Barkley much like Christian McCaffrey, and he thinks he can do a lot of the same things that they liked about McCaffrey, and they tried to get him. So I do personally believe in those rumors. I don't know if they're going to get him. There's going to be other teams fighting for him. So I'm not holding my breath that they sign Saquon Barkley. I do think that they will be interested, and I do think that if you don't get them, then you just please go out and make sure you get Swift. Do not come away with not having either one of those guys.
No, yeah, they come empty without a running back. Then yeah, it's not going to be good. Yeah.
SMD agrees with us. He says Barkley to the Eagles is realistic as Bijan to the Eagles. Yeah, it's pretty damn realistic, because if Jalen Carter's drafted, Bijan Robinson was going to the Eagles. That's pretty much would have been a done deal. So yeah, I agree. I think it's pretty realistic. The only reason the Eagles, Jalen Carter fell and the Eagles took him. If he's gone and Will Anderson's gone, Bijan Robinson was your pick. No doubt about it in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree.
I mean, he turned out to be good, right?
Yeah, he's all right. He's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a shame Kelsey won't be there. I agree. But I think, listen, just because the Eagles are interested in him, and we got to say this, just because they want or possibly are interested again, doesn't mean they're going to get him. I don't think, if he's getting $12 million, they're not going to take it. They're not going to do it. They're not going to overpay. The whole condition of the running backs and Barkley and the possibilities of you getting him is because the devalue of the position. The fact that he's not going to get $10 million a year, that's why he's attractive to them. If somebody offers him $12 million, it's not going to be the Eagles. It's got to be for a good price.
Look how many average talent running backs that have came through Philadelphia, go to other teams, and can't even get a rotational job, like the Josh Adams, the Wendell Smallwoods of the world. Guys like that don't get those jobs because the trenches is where the Eagles value what they do offensively with the run game, because it's not a plug-in type player at running back, but if we actually get a skilled guy, and obviously Swift is a guy too, which he could sign to a 1-year deal, which I hope they can get that done before it gets, before he signs somewhere else. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Asbury says he knew what he was doing. He's been as far as, I love you. I love you. You know it. My David Super Chat. He goes, yo, I'm late. What up, Philly and Joey? Pound get Barkley. There you go. I like it.
Hey.
See, I'm a Giants fan. You guys will not like Barkley. I love Barkley, Joseph. I'll take my chances. Listen, like I said, my first choice would be to get Derrick Henry and Swift and have them be complimentary. That would be my first thing that I would do if I had my way. But all I'm saying is I do believe that the Barkley stuff is legit. I think that there's truth to it. I think the Eagles are interested. I don't know that they're going to end up. I'm not saying I expect them to end up with him. I just think that they're interested in him. Like I said, I think if he gets over $10 million, I don't think the Eagles will touch him. I think the Eagles look at him and go, "Oh my gosh, if this guy's $8 or $9 million, yeah, let's do it." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's it. But I mean, we'll find out. Do I think they're interested? Yeah. Am I expecting it? No. But I'll tell you this: if we don't come out with, I want to come out with either Barkley, Swift, Henry, or Jacob. If I don't get one of those 4 running backs, I'm kind of going to be disappointed, Joey.
Yeah, no, they have to get some. I mean, there's no way they're leaving empty-handed. These running backs need to they have to be patient. They're going to be patient. I don't think it's going to be like a first day thing. It might take a couple days, maybe it might take a week, but they're not going to get what they want. It's not going to happen. So
yeah. Bald Eagle David Super goes, we need to get Barkley. Pound Barkley. Hey, I don't mind. I don't know. Paying $9-10 million for running back when your defense sucked last year is crazy, in my opinion. Why? The best defense is a good offense. I mean, if you want to help out your defense, make your offense even better.
Mm-hmm.
And then that allows your offense, your defense to play younger guys, to have time to develop. You still go out. We're not talking about a team that has $20 million on the cap. So the team's going to have $60 million in cap space. You can do both. Mm-hmm. You can easily do both.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean?
Detroit was young on defense too. Like Detroit was one of the younger teams on defense last year.
Yeah. As somebody says, Gainwell late lead back. Woohoo! Yeah, right. I know.
Kelly Green.
So I don't know how it's going to turn out. I don't. I mean, we don't know. I don't want Gainwell next year. I don't want Gainwell and Pollard. I don't want none of that shit. Give me. There's a lot of good backs out there. Go get somebody that's good, man. And put them around this offense and be unstoppable.
We need Gainwell's pass protection. That's where we value it. Or are you sick of hearing that shit?
It's funny because it would always get people. I'd be reading the chat during the games where it's and I'll be like, why is third down? Why isn't Swift in? And they'd be like, because it's pass protection. and then that play that snapped the ball and they literally would give up a sack. And I'm like, oh, great pass protection. No, I mean they need running backs. I look at it like if your offense is unstoppable, I think that makes it easier for your defense to be rebuilt, not just in 1 year, but over a course of a few. I say do it, man. I say why not? I say why not? I think it would be scary. I think every defense would be scared to death of the Eagles. I mean, let's say you have Barkley, that line, you have Joe, you have AJ Brown, Avonte Smith, Goddard. What are you going to do? Especially if you start using Barkley out of the backfield.
Yeah.
I don't know. It sounds pretty scary
So
to me.
here's another thing that they might do. They might, when you go through free agency the first 2 days. So it says this from Ryan Dunleavy, that's works for the New York Post and has covered the Giants. Says the agent community expects Eagles to be big players, for Giants Xavier McKinney if he's unsigned by Monday. So he might be waiting for specific players that might not get what they want the first day. Might be a little bit of a price drop on the second day, and then pounce and go get it.
But that's typically what they have done before.
Yeah,
they
that's true.
typically let the big names come off, and they almost like that first wave go by, and then that's when they work. Like if Barkley doesn't sign with like the Chargers or the Texans by like Tuesday, that's when the Eagles have a chance to get him. You know, I agree. Not by sight. Welcome to Dingbat Nation, man. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. How's Jesus hits? Thank you for super chat. He goes, Barkley behind the O-line would be crazy. I think so too, man. I think so too. I think he would. Live Wild says, I ain't gonna lie, AJ. See, AJ Dillon to me is another guy. Like if let's say you bring Swift back and you can't get Henry, why not AJ Dillon? Why not a complimentary piece like him? See, that would be really what I want. I would love the complimentary. I really like what the Lions had with Montgomery and Gibbs. I love that whole complimentary piece, So it'd be fun. I mean, but, the Eagles need a running back. They definitely do. And their offense is very talented. If you make the offense really, really good where it's scoring 30 points a game, I think it gives you leeway on defense to do things like let Nolan Smith develop, let some of these other guys play and develop. And by the end of the year, hopefully they're playing really, really good. That's the luxury of a good offense if you can have it. So I think it's not typically what people think when we go spending money, but we're not talking about a team that can only make one move. It's not like we're saying the Eagles can only get one player. They got one big signing. They're going to be able to do multiple stuff.
That's usually that's usually the case. That's usually the case every year.
Usually the case is they got right, exactly.
Like a mid-tier, not even the highest paid, like maybe a mid-tier. But now with if Reddick's going to be out the door or gets extended, I mean, you're going to be close to $60 million. You're not going to be in a situation like this for a while. Like this is where there's certain rookie contracts still in the process right now on your roster and take advantage of. Even Seth Joyner had a crazy thing he said this week. He was like, you know what? Since you're paying Jordan Davis, you're paying Jalen Carter on a rookie deal right now. Which is not going to happen now because that DT from Baltimore got paid a shit ton of money. He was saying get Christian Wilkins because he likes playing with Fangio. That was another move they could make.
Something like outside the box thing. That's what it's going to take, man. I agree. That's a Swift and Dillon Swift and Dillon would be I have no problem with that. Philly D says love Henry, but a lot of miles. He does, but he still can play. He still put up really good numbers last year. I think you get a Henry for like a year. I mean, I think he'd be a year, 1 year guy. I think he still can play.
I miss having like the combination of different skill set backs, just like we had in 17. I like those. Even a 1-2 punch would be great, but I miss having, the aggressive one in JHI, the bruiser, and LeGarrette Blount. Like I love having those just different, and you can always just put guys whenever in that you want on specific plays, and it just keeps the defense guessing all the time. You don't know what you're going to get with this offense. There's so much they can do. Oh,
I love the idea. I mean, that's why like if you said to me, all right, we're going to the move is going to be AJ Dillon and Swift. I would love it. I would be all for that. I think that would be a great piece to see. Now the question would be, would the Eagles want that? Do they want a guy like a Dillon, or do they want somebody that is got multiple guys that can catch out of backfield? That's what we got to figure out. Yeah, and don't forget Corey Clement as well, Joey. He was also,
underrated.
For a running back, he was great, man. He was great, and he could catch out of the backfield. I forgot Mixon's available, isn't he?
We should have got Joe. Yeah.
Joe Mixon. Is he still? Yeah.
Sorry.
That's
Sorry.
interesting.
That just came to my mind. Sorry.
Oh man.
We've
been on almost 2 hours.
Yeah, I have to pick my girlfriend up like soon. So
all right, yeah. So we'll close this out now. Philly fan says 500. I think there's a possibility that the Eagles sign Justin Simmons just because he has ties with Vic Fangio. Christian Parker knows the scheme as well. Yeah, we were saying that we thought that he's the most likely safety. That would be our number one odds to get. So, yeah. Anyways, well, yeah, we're gonna end this now. We want to thank you guys for joining us.
Yes.
Joey's got to get out of here. I got to go. I should go see what my family's up to. A lot of content coming from both of us this week. So look for that. It should be a really, really busy week, and we'll find out what happens.
Mm-hmm.
It could go any which way, and we're excited to see. So with that said, we're going to let you guys go. Peace. Take care, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Peace.